What's up, everybody? Welcome to Cat and Beats, and welcome to episode 5 of What the Fuck Was That?
What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? A fucking cat?
Now, when I get into weird things in mixing, I tend to film it, put it on my Instagram account, and then those are my stories. They're just weird little trinkets of when I get my nerd on completely. Now, this time I got my nerd on with Elpine again. The song isn't out yet, so there's no link yet, but later on there will be a link to this EP or LP. And this time around, a few of you said, "What the fuck was that?" to this one. And also, one of you asked, can you remake this effect within Ableton using only Ableton plugins? So we're going to try and see if we can do that. For those of you who have sound toys, you can follow along, and for those of you who don't, stick around and you'll figure out something new. So the drums right now sound like this. And we're listening to this. And you can already tell probably what we're going to be doing. It's this. So what this does, or what this chain is made up out of, is quite simple. We have a little plate, which is just a plate reverb set to about 1 second. And I wanted to put the clap into that drum reverb so that the drums have a little bit of life to them. Now, I was thinking, let's keep this mid-side weirdness going on. If I take my Ozone Imager, which is free, by the way, I take the width down, then we're going to end up with a relatively mono reverb. Without... See, it's stereo. And I thought, why not do something a bit funny and also introduce Echo Boy to it to create this massive so that that kick drum and that whole drum is just like bah, 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 you know, it's nice. So with Echo Boy, what you can do is when you click on tweak and you start tweaking really hard, you can click on the pan shape and then go to double. And what this does is this. So you have in the middle the bah and the little plates having that reverb, and then on the side the reverb actually goes and it goes up. And here's a reverb shape, so you can click here and then check your shape, and then the only thing it does is it goes up, and I put on 8 repeats, put it on rhythmic echo. And then the mix knob is really quite low, because if you put the mix knob up too high, it's going to be loud as snot. And I don't want the effect to be that present. All right, now on top of that, the cool part about sound toys is it has flavors, and I love flavors. And this one has a whole bunch of flavors. Now, my flavor of the day is transmitter, and I saturate the snot out of it so that the middle is tuh, and then the side is a different flavor. And it's also on the side. So it's just a combination that makes me, you know, my inner nerd excited. And together, it's a little bit over the top. So, but together with the drums, it's just dope. And it gives the final listener, you know, who will be on headphones or who will be in the car, will go like, what the fuck is that? What is this? So let's now get into the concept of, can you remake it in Ableton? I thought about this a little bit, and I'm not sure yet how. So I'll show you my thought process, and then we'll see if we can get close or not. And what I also want to quickly emphasize is that most likely one of you will know a Max for Live plugin that does this reverse volume decay time. So it goes to da 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 instead of da 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 da, because almost all the volumes go da 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 if you go for a decay time. So let's just take this concept that we have here. Let's try to remake it, and let's go the whole cumbersome route, because that's what I kind of call it if we do it just in Ableton to create something like this. First and foremost, we will take a normal reverb because the little plate is just a reverb. So let's just take a reverb, plop it in. Then we have a reverb. Excuse me. All right, that's the reverb. It was about 1 second that I had, so let's put in 1 second. But the quality nice and high, low cut processing. Let's just forget about that completely. And the second part we need to think of is we want a reverb that is mono. So reverb that's mono, let's go 50 on the stereo width, and that's already a lot better in comparison to... Okay, that's kind of centered enough. Let's try messing with the size as well, just for fun. Kind of trying to get it a little bit platey, but it's obviously not a plate, and I'm sure that there's a preset in Ableton for plate. Anyway, this is great and all. And what I'm now thinking is we have this plate ozone imager thing solved. What we should normally do now is already bounce this sound down into an audio track and then go from there into a simple delay and have two different tracks. And I'll show you why my thought process is going that way. Because if we now go from this ozone imager to the pretend Echo Boy, which is going to be our simple delay, we put our delay time on 1, and we now have to use our ears to figure out if we can get 8 counts in, because the Echo Boy is only doing tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8th one landing on the snare drum again. So let's just put the feedback up and see if we can do it. Let's also go off the dry wet a little bit, because it's just not, it's coming out a bit too smeary. Okay, and then this simple delay is supposed to have a flavor to it. Now this is kind of where it goes all wonky, because if we now start adding a flavor to it, like that transmitter type of vibe, which I'm going to just emulate with a blues amp right here, because it will give us top end. It will also get the reverb before to have that flavor. So, now, the normal way to get out of this situation, or to get this sound to actually be emulated, we would have to bounce this into a audio track, and then in that audio track we have to reverse that sound, and then we get a reverse swelling decay time. Now that's the closest I'll be able to get to it. Now before we even do that, we need to also remember that if we're going to be reversing a sound, we're going to have to reverse the input that's coming in, so that when we reverse the sound, it'll be a reverse decay time with a reverse reverb. Jesus. All right, so there we go. Put reverse on, and now that's the sound. And then if we then make a audio track and click on record, and we're going to send this drum reverb into the audio 23. Let's bump up the volume a tiny bit as well. Do we have volume somewhere? Okay, let's just leave that like that. And let's record this, and then let's see if it comes close. But you kind of already know the answer. 2, 3. Okay, cool. So now that is recorded over here. And now if we then reverse that by literally clicking the R button, R, that should be kind of the sound that we're going for. Although the only problem is now that it's too mono, and we wanted to have that mono to side vibe coming in. Now, if we would compare these two together, then you'll hear that you can kind of do it, but at the same time, it's not the same vibe. It's not the same flavor. And it definitely doesn't do the whole echoing weird side stuff, at least to what I've just experimented with. So let's just have a listen to. We have this sound on the drum reverb. And this is the remade sound. So you're gonna have to go into volume automation and go around a little bit and try to figure out like stereo automation as well to get it to the final sound that you need it to. But in short, to answer the question that I was asked, is it possible to do it with Ableton only? Yes, it is possible. Most likely it's just a little bit more work. And a little bit of automation, and it's just a little bit more thinking, and this is more of a happy accident. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. I'll see you guys in the next video. To be soon. Take care. Much love. Peace out. And remember to subscribe, like, and also go give a follow on Instagram /catandbeats, and you'll see tons of weird things. Cheers. Bye-bye.